ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help. The following program is brought to you by Arlington Community Media, where we tell your story.
This is ACMi News, recognized nationwide as the first place winner of the 2023 Hometown Media Award for News Access.
Gyros, baklava, and good company as thousands of area residents indulge on authentic Greek fare, wine, and beer at the annual Arlington Greek Festival. It's a match made in heaven. A new book out this week by an area author touches upon a very sensitive topic few people wish to discuss: caring for a loved one who can no longer fend for themselves. And you'll meet that author next. Arlington's world-renowned artist Cyrus Dallin was at the top of his game when a prominent Boston family commissioned him to sculpt a masterpiece. You may have passed it without knowing the Dallin connection, as we just discovered. ACMi News starts right now.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the nationwide award-winning ACMi News. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll hosted a news conference on the steps of Town Hall on Thursday, June 13th to announce a major economic boost to Arlington. Hello, I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm James Milan. So glad you could join us today. Governor Healey revealed her administration's second 5-year capital investment plan, which will direct significant funding to housing, economic development, infrastructure, and climate resiliency programs. It undoubtedly is a game changer in so many ways, namely to get the Bay State back on track when it comes to stemming the tide of residents leaving Massachusetts in search of more affordable housing elsewhere. In this exclusive interview with ACMi News Director Jeff Barnd, Governor Healey says this effort is long overdue.
It's especially valuable now, given some of the big challenges that we face around housing, affordability, climate, transportation, and infrastructure. This plan will advance the work that we're doing on all those fronts and advance our overarching goal of making Massachusetts more affordable, more competitive, and more equitable for all. The plan also creates a new incentive for local housing solutions. Secretary Augustus and his team have already launched an extensive campaign to help our cities and towns come into compliance with the MBTA Communities Act. More than 70 communities have already approved zoning under the MBTA Communities Act in compliance. And 85%, the vast majority of communities have already held a vote and have had successfully adopted the MBTA Communities Act. So we're looking forward to partnering more with communities across the state. And today, as part of that effort, we are creating, for the first time ever, the MBTA Communities Catalyst Fund. This is a fund that will provide funding over the next 3 years to further support communities like Arlington, who are in full compliance with the MBTA Communities Act. So we're rewarding communities that are focused on housing and focused on helping us get to where we need to be as a state, which is to produce and generate more housing units all over. So the Healey-Driscoll administration is partnering with communities, showing up with real dollars in real ways to continue to support that effort.
How critical is this program?
It's absolutely critical. When I started as governor, it was estimated that we were short a couple 100,000 housing units in Massachusetts. So we have made a goal of creating housing around this state the top priority for my administration. We want to make housing more affordable. We want to see rents lowered. We want to see, it cheaper for people to afford homes. I love our state. We're a great state. And I want people to be able to stay here. I want businesses to be able to expand here. I want grandparents to be able to live nearby their grandkids, right? And so the key to that, and the key to not only making Massachusetts more affordable, but also more competitive, is creating more housing. This is another really big step, an important investment that we're making.
It seems like you're making up for lost time. I mean, this is a game-changing program.
Yeah, we have to. You know, both the LG and I bring a lot of urgency and a lot of focus on this, and it's something that out of the gate our administration has leaned into. We created a housing secretary the very first time, and you know, Secretary Augustus has been out there leading the charge. We announced this capital plan today, so we've got a big bond bill, we've got our capital plan, we've got other investments that we made through budgeting, and I want to be clear with people, we're looking to create housing across a range of income levels. We need market rate housing, we need workforce housing, and we need housing that's more affordable. We need to also rehab our public housing. So, you know, if we do that, if we build more housing, it's going to keep people here, it's going to keep our economic growth strong, and that's what we're aiming for.
Governor Healey says this effort is bound to make Massachusetts and, of course, the town of Arlington more affordable, competitive, and equitable. Hear more of the governor's June 13th news conference. Just go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/ACMi News. Again, that's facebook.com/ACMi News.
On to other news now. This is the time of year to celebrate our graduates, and that includes this year's graduating class from Arlington's second Civic Academy.
The 6-week course took place at Town Hall. Those enrolling had the chance to see how town government operates, and it encourages pupils to take part in the democratic process as well. Town manager Jim Feeney was in our studios recently to tell me about this year's class.
Town officials and staff celebrated the graduates of Arlington's. It's already our second cohort of the Civic Academy. So Select Board Member Helmuth and Town Moderator Greg Christiana offered some brief remarks at the ceremony that we held in the Select Board chambers at Town Hall. So that was sort of the culmination of a 6-week program that features a number of presentations from town officials and staff with really a focus on how Arlington works as an organization and as a local government, and to offer some insight into what roles that participants may want to consider for playing a role in that town government moving forward, and the different opportunities to volunteer or perhaps run for office or join town meeting or join some other board, committee, and commission.
Town leaders say this was another positive experience for both staff and participants. And this academy serves as a great entry point for residents who are looking to get involved in local government.
Just like that, the legendary band The OJs, I love music, any kind of music, and like the Stones, time is on our side. Why? Because Porchfest 2024 is set for Saturday, June 15th, right here in Arlington. 300 plus porches, bands, and artists are returning to your neighborhood this year. Once again, we'll enjoy the energy that live music creates on Arlington's lawns, porches, gardens, and stoops in a day of festivity and merriment. This revered town-wide festival will be moving from west to east from noon till 6 p.m. on Saturday. This year's Porchfest will feature a wide range of musical genres from Americana to jazz to Zydeco. And at the end of the day, Garage Band, Arlington's homegrown music and community party, will feature bluegrass band Local Freight at Arlington's coolest outdoor venue, Abe's Global Service Station on Mass Ave.
And what would Porchfest be without James Brown? Singer Tony Wilson brings James Brown back to life with his lively and incredibly funky music from 2 to 4 this Saturday under the marquee at the Regent Theater. It'll be kind of a preview of Wilson's Super Bad Birthday Bash coming to the region on August 14th. ACMi News correspondent Julia Carpi spoke to Wilson and Regent Theater co-owner Leland Stein about Wilson's act, which will make us all feel good, like we knew that it would now.
So it's been a while since we've actually done something on our outside stage here, with Medford Street still open, so it's going to be crazy, but we've never done anything quite like Tony Wilson.
Well, I started off as a decoy for Michael Jackson for 3 years. Then from there, I went on to work with James Brown, the Godfather of Soul, and progressed and keeping his legacy alive. We actually just did a big event, and we have one coming up here on my birthday, August 14th. It's going to be right here. So we're excited, and I've always been into music, and that's my whole thing. More importantly is that all the musicians decided to get together, and that's pretty much everywhere, but definitely here at the Regent Theater. We're going to be doing the Porchfest again with the Brother Walk Band, and this is going to be very good because it's going to be right here in this lobby, in this area, and we're going to have fun. People will dance and have fun and get to meet some of the musicians from everywhere, you know. So it's going to be very exciting from 2 to 4, and that'll be the 15th of June.
We're really busy this week and right through the summer. The day after Porchfest is Father's Day, June 16th, and we have a special 6 p.m. show, which is a big live Motown extravaganza. 65 years of Motown, celebrating the music beloved by so many people, the soundtrack to so many of our lives, produced and presented by the great Leon Beal Jr. And he's got a huge band and lots of great vocalists, and it's just a lot of fun. Special start time of 6 p.m. so people can celebrate Father's Day with their families, and then come to the Regent to top off the celebration and still get home for an early work day the next day.
And they'll be dancing in the streets. Which reminds me, Motown, the soundtrack of our lives, is coming to the Regent on Father's Day, June 16th at 6 p.m. Get the latest on this year's Porchfest by going to this website, arlingtonporchfest.org. Again, that's arlingtonporchfest, all one word, .org. And get the Regent Theater's summer lineup by clicking regenttheater.com. Again, that's Regent Theater, and that's theater, TRE.com.
St. Athanasius Orthodox Church held its annual Greek Festival Thursday, June 6th through Sunday, June 9th at 4 Appleton Street. As usual, thousands of area residents came to indulge on authentic Greek fare, wine, and beer. There was also live music and dancing. One big hit, as it is every year, was Hero Night on Thursday, June 6th. And take our word for it, no one went home disappointed or hungry.
All those wonderful people from the beautiful town of Arlington and the neighboring communities come out to support us, but I know they really come out for the delicious Greek food we're selling, which I'm okay with, but they are very supportive of the church too, which we're very appreciative of that. Everything is made in-house. Nothing is bought or brought in, from a commissary. Everything is made. Our ladies, Philopto Society, St. Barbara's, Philoptohos, the philanthropic arm of the church, which are Friends of the Poor, their official title. They work day and night to make those beautiful desserts, from the galataboudiko, which is the Greek custard with phyllo and honey, the loukoumades, the baklava, and we can keep going down the list. There's just so many nice things. You know, the economy's been tough. We've tried to keep our prices stable, but what's one thing that doesn't fail is the people are very generous in the communities that surround us and the town of Arlington, not just our Greek friends, but all of the friends that enjoy coming to the church and enjoying a little bit of our Greek culture and seeing how tasty our foods are. We don't look for accolades. We just do it humbly and willingly, and that's who we are. So, but I think people that are coming here should know that all of these things that we do, by coming to the festival, they help a portion of them somehow. So we're very appreciative of it.
Nicholas Krikatos tells us the festival may reach nearly $125,000 this year. That money goes to the General Ministries Fund, which helps great causes worldwide. Congrats to the church for another stellar year. There's a new book coming out this month by an area author about a topic many people go through but few discuss. The book is entitled Staying Sane on the Crazy Train by Kim Nagy. Here's a proof of the book just days before its release. This memoir covers the heart-wrenching but inspirational story of Kim's mother at the end of her life when she could no longer care for herself. And it was Kim who endured the agony of putting her own life on hold to care for her mother, a woman Kim hardly knew in the final days.
It's a memoir, and I focused on the time period where I was a reluctant caregiver to my mother, who had been a hoarder and struggled with dementia.
So how did this change you?
It was extremely difficult because I have to say it lasted nearly 9 years, and it was a nightmare the entire time. And it was because I had a very strong relationship with her prior, when she was more herself, that helped me to get through it, but she was pretty much unrecognizable. It was extremely cathartic to write about it. I kept a journal for the whole time, and that process was very cathartic. In fact, looking back, I'm now able to read really horrible, intense sections of the book and laugh at the real craziness. And the title came from the crazy train, because that's how, when people would ask, how are you doing? I would say, well, I'm boarding the crazy train. I love the song. And I would just describe it that way. I'm boarding the crazy train. I'm getting off the crazy train. I'm still on the crazy train.
How did you change as a result of this? When you went into this reluctantly, as anyone would naturally, and you've come out on the other side, what has changed in Kim's life?
I learned how to decouple expectation from effort, and that was the biggest thing that I had to learn, that no matter how hard I tried, things weren't going to get better. So I had to learn to ask myself different questions. How can I feel better? How can I improve, rather than why is this happening to me and I'm a good person and all that sort of judgment. So that was the real breakthrough.
In the end, are you glad you went through what you went through, only if nothing else to give your mother the comfort that she needed at that time when she could not fend for herself anymore?
I can't say I was happy to go through it, but a lot of wonderful things happened, and the wonderful things never would have occurred had I not gone through the process.
Staying Sane on the Crazy Train by Kim Nagy will be available on Amazon.com by next week. It will also be in area stores wherever fine books are sold.
And Arlington is alive with the sound of music. The sounds of area composer Hovhaness were staged at the Town Hall Auditorium on Sunday, June 6th, part of the Myrack Chamber Music 2024 concert series sponsored by the Armenian Cultural Foundation. Hovhaness was an American composer of Armenian ancestry who lived in Arlington and is considered one of the most prolific 20th century composers. His catalog included more than 70 numbered symphonies among more than 500 surviving works. This June 9th event, a tribute to Hovhaness, drew a packed crowd at Town Hall. If you missed this concert, you can see it in its entirety on our website, acmi.tv. Again, that's acmi.tv. A very inspiring and unique play reading took place at the Palatial Armenian Cultural Foundation at 441 Mystic Street on Sunday, June 2nd. It's called The Four Mrs. Hemingways, and it was written by playwright Robert Pushkar. And it played to a packed audience. There's a theme for today, a packed audience at the John P. Myrack Hall. Take a look.
He had nicknames for everyone, didn't he? Mine was Kitten.
It was a packed house inside the John P. Myrack Hall at the Armenian Cultural Foundation on Sunday, June the 2nd, for a performance reading of the new play, The Four Mrs. Hemingways, by playwright Robert Pushkar. This play reveals the four extraordinary people, the wives of Ernest Hemingway, who gave their love to arguably the greatest American author of the 20th century and larger-than-life character.
Most people that I talk to do not know that he had four wives over 40 years. And so in this age of empowerment of women, I thought that a play about his wives would be very appealing to today's marketplace.
So much of our lives.
Women cannot surrender their identities just because they say I do.
This performance reading also featured the character of iconic singer-actor Marlene Dietrich, a great friend to Ernest Hemingway throughout the decades. A mysterious trunk that plays an integral role, and some historic facts that many people may not know about these fascinating women who were fiercely independent in their own way.
The director, Steve Bogart, has really put together theatrical flourishes in this. So the whole afternoon is going to be an exercise in edutainment. The audience is going to learn, but at the same time, they're going to be thoroughly entertained.
I play Martha Gellhorn in the 4 Mrs. Hemingways. She's the 3rd Mrs. Hemingway. She was unpossessable, which is Robert's word I thought was really apt for describing her. Yeah, she's a rarity, or I find her to be a rarity, I think, and was probably the thing that drew Ernest Hemingway to her in the first place. I mean, there are many reasons why I am particularly drawn to her of his wives. My God, I do think that they tried to make it work. They're both hot personalities, though, and hot with hot, you know, big with big, I think can only last so long before they sort of attempt, kind of eat each other alive, basically.
But it makes for such a great play.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, and it plays out in a really cool way in the play that I won't spoil, but.
What Robert did was write a play where the women are meeting each other in a kind of a dream space after life. And so it's magic realism, and so we can go anywhere with the play, which is putting it in that kind of imaginary space allowed Robert to go anywhere he wanted with this play. And one of the challenges was for him also was to let the characters talk to each other in these new circumstances and not always worry about, is it actually real what they're talking about? Sometimes it is, and sometimes, I mean, real in terms of who they were when they were alive.
Seems to me as though this play can be going places. What are you looking forward to in the future?
Well, I'm very confident, and I have a very fine producer, and we are going to hopefully produce a commercial product that has audience appeal, and we have now the script in various places. People are considering it for future production.
For more information on the 4 Mrs. Hemingways, just go to this website, harborsidefilmsboston.com. Again, that's harborsidefilmsboston.com.
That'll do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. Do you want to see how we put the newscast together here in Arlington?
Just stop by and pay us a visit at 85 Park Ave on Thursday afternoons between 3 and 5 p.m. And if you have any news tips for us, stay tuned. In just a few seconds, you'll find out how to contact us.
Meantime, we will see you back here next week. Thanks, as always, for joining us. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm James Milan. Have a great week, everyone.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.
ACMi productions are only made possible with your support. Visit patreon.com/ACMi to learn how you can help.